First off, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Second of all, thank you guys for supporting me throughout all these years to the point where these interviews are possible. This is our second interview. We got one done with Brian Williams last year. This year we got one with Cornell, WWE 2K26 gameplay designer, and this was a super fun discussion. Unfortunately, there were some things that we just weren't able to ask, and that was it, man. It was a 20+ minute discussion. Hopefully you guys find little bits and pieces that get you excited for 2K26 with this one, as I think that it was a really fun one. But before we go on ahead and get into it, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned. We are giving away a couple of copies of WWE 2K26, starting with 2 on X right now that we are hosting. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Let's go on ahead and get into it. All right, man, we have Cornell here, gameplay designer for 2K. There's a lot of things over there, man. My boy be cooking. But listen, Cornell, how you doing today, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. First off, thank you so much, man, for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on your platform. We go back. Very proud of what you've been doing, the grind and the work. I'm happy to see how much you're growing, and I'm happy to see how much the community has taken into you, and they appreciate your content, but they also appreciate the voice that you have. So never change. And again, thank you for having me on.
Appreciate you, bro. That means a lot. Thank you so much for that. So
Yes,
we got
no
a lot
problem.
of questions, bro. You already know lots of people, man. They've been going crazy on X, man, and
Yeah.
I gotta go on ahead, bro. We got to start with the ringside pass. We got the full
Yes.
breakdown today.
Yes.
And obviously there's a lot of questions to be asked, and I don't expect everything to be answered here because this is a whole new system that we're going into. But if you don't mind, man, can you just tell us a little bit about how the XP is going to work, right? Because a lot of the things that people are worried about with the XP is, all right, you guys introduced something called level skips, which if you guys are familiar with the NBA 2K game, you guys know that that's a thing. So people are thinking, oh my God, this is going to be hard, to do. So I got to hear your thoughts on this, man. Let me know how you feel about this whole thing.
So I think one of the biggest things off the top is change is a lot. And I understand that. And we understand that as a team, right? And change can lead to curiosity, it can lead to anxiety. But I think one of the things that players will realize immediately for the ringside pass is there's no pay to win advantages within the ringside pass. Our biggest thing is providing content. And a lot of the XP stuff, clearly I saw it today on social media. But the truth and honest answer is we're still tweaking and tuning those things, right? So we're still, on our side, making sure that it's in a good spot. So it's one of the things too for us that we are literally the batch in a bunch of people that have to get pulled off of something because we keep looking at it so much and we keep left, right, up, down, right situation. So we're literally still fine tuning that and, not lying, you see PR here and I'm not lying. We are, we're still fine tuning things to try to make sure that it's in a comfortable spot that we know that our community will like. But again, we're always open for feedback, and I think that's one of the best things that's been happening. Is seeing people's reaction to the ringside pass. I don't sit up here and search for negativity, and we don't search for good tweets either. We just search for everything, and we want to know how the community is feeling because we cannot be able to push forward a product if we completely are not aware of how our community feels. So, I think one of the things that people will realize with the ringside pass is that again, it's about content. 120 total reward items, which per season, by the way, which is the most thing we've ever done. And it being available day one, which has never been a thing, and the ringside pass premium includes DLC. So that means DLC will be available day one when you get your game, which has never been a thing. So our thing is we want to give content. We want to give content to our players to where throughout the entire life cycle of our game, they're able to have content that they can always sink into and always have. And if let's say, you're not playing as much this time for this season 1 and you get back on a season 3, you're not missing anything. Nothing is timed either. So again, the ringside pass is strictly about content. And again, back to your original question when it comes to XP, we're still tuning it. And we're still doing a lot of underhood things just to kind of make sure that it's in the right spot before it goes out.
For sure. That's good to hear. Hopefully that helps some people, understand, a little bit of what it is as well. And one thing I did want to ask as well with the personas, because we heard today in the blog and the breakdown that we are going to get some personas on there. So for the 2 persona cards, I think it was, are those exclusive to the pass, or are those going to be something that's already in my faction that you can just unlock? Because some people had the questions of, are we going to get exclusivity with the season pass, and then my faction is going to have their own thing going on?
So I said two. Maybe I'll just maybe they meant at least two. Okay, but my biggest thing is well, our biggest thing when it comes to personas is you can earn personas throughout the game. Clearly, Myrise,
Yeah,
Dylan, My Faction, etc. Right? Being able to bring personas to ringside pass gives our players the ability to earn it in different ways. In another way, which is also, as we talked about XP in your first question, like XP is earned throughout the game. In our blog, we listed out, many different ways to earn it. So what we did not want was players to feel like they had to go somewhere to go earn something. Right. And if, we now have a different avenue to do it. I think one of the things for the personas, man, it's just like they're not the same that you're getting anywhere else. They're very unique, very different, very exclusive. And I think the thing that people will, I want people to understand is like, across the board, we work hard in every single thing that we do. Um, but I can speak on the personas that the team and I worked on. It's like it took us a long time to even get down to the certain personas of like, okay, cool, yeah, like, because dude, I tell you, like we started at 30, and then got to shrink it down, and we got to shrink it down, and like there's a lot of thought that goes into it. Then also the biggest factor comes in, well, what does this community want? What have they been asking for? How
right.
okay, can we get that? Can we get it achieved? Because I think there's a misperception where people think sometimes that like, oh well, we said we wanted this. There's a lot of legal and approval and certain things that it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But one thing is that like all parties involved, like us, WWE, everybody that we work with, like everybody tries to achieve the same goal, which is like bringing the best content to our players. And I think what people will, while we usually will realize and experience when it comes to this ringside patch is like we heard you. I think that's something. I think that's something that they'll immediately feel. And like I think once players are able to see the ringside path and experience it for themselves and realize that our goal is to give them content, I think that they might calm down, and I think that might make them be like, okay, cool, I understand it now. But again, we're not offended by any of the reaction. Like we kind of want these kind of things so we can kind of understand of where everybody is and understand, okay, it's good feedback for us. So like, we're looking at doing this going forward. So it's like if we are close ourselves off to only thinking in one way without listening to our community, it won't work. So we're in a great, and from my perspective, we're in a great learning spot of like how our community thinks and what they want. We're always going to work to try to achieve that no matter what.
For sure. That's good to hear. Now, just to before I dive in a little bit of gameplay, because I did want to ask you something, man. In the trailer that we got
Yes.
last week,
Yeah.
we saw the whole Kane thing. It went crazy where people were
Yeah.
talking about Kane.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, man, because obviously, we know that there's so many wrestlers in the game, and
Yes.
not to sit here and justify or try to excuse you guys, but it's 400 plus wrestlers apparently. That's the number this year, so it's hard
Yes.
to get to everybody. Now, can you tell us here if that's something that's going to be possibly fixed, patched, what the case may be with that?
So when how can I explain this? So as we go through and we do things and approval process comes in and all those kind of things and certain things get fixed before or certain things get updated before that might not be in what you saw in a trailer or something, but by the time you get it in your hand it's different. Like not different, but it's updated, to a certain
Yeah.
extent. Like I don't think I've been in trouble for this. Like for example, you showed Dominic Mysterio in the trailer, but his neck tattoo wasn't fully done. Dom is like that's my guy. So like he's been sending me the tattoo progression as he's been getting it done. So by the time they see Dominic Mysterio when they get the game, he'll have the full neck tattoo. But it's one of the things too where I think, again, it's man, again, we see I think the biggest thing I just want to say about this topic right here is like we see the feedback and like Alistair Black came out WrestleMania 42. There was a lot of feedback and sentiment regarding that, right? And we addressed that. We did the best that we could in a manner that where it was possible and doable, but then effective, right? And I think that's some of the things I think people need to understand. Well, hopefully they understand is like, even though you might not get it the next day or the answer, you might not get the answer you want immediately. That does not mean we're not working. And if you don't get an answer at all, that don't mean it's not seen. So, yeah, that sentiment and that feedback did not fall on deaf ears.
Okay. Cool, cool. Good to hear. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. We've seen with the commentary team, we've seen different cuts of them throughout the trailers, man. We've seen Byron Saxton sitting down, and one I saw four of them, and I'm like, bro, ain't no way y'all putting four on one table, man. That's crazy. But what's the word on that, Cornell? Can you fill us in? Are we going to be able to switch these commentary teams? What's going on with that?
So there's a whole. I don't want to be the spoiler of bad news, but there's a whole situation, not situation, there's a whole beat, there's a whole activation that's coming out regarding, that stuff, regarding commentary and all that. And I just don't want to take from
Okay.
take from, that. I'll just put it that way. But as you guys saw, there is new people at the commentary table, and I'm pretty sure they have something. I'm pretty sure they have something to say about them being at the commentary table. So
Okay, cool. So we'll leave that alone, but
yeah,
appreciate you. Now, man, I know there's a gameplay deep dive coming in soon. I know that for
yes,
sure now.
yes.
One thing I do want to ask, man, because I'm somebody that if anybody caught any of the videos, man, I was complaining about this not the pin mini game, but the submission mini game. I hated it. Now, can you tell me right now, am I still going to hate it this year, or are we might be leaning into a different direction with the casket match and the ambulance match? Is that going to be something that's different this year?
So gameplay. So I'm gonna take a step back, and I'm gonna start wider, but then I'll get exactly to your question. Gameplay, this year we try to go after every single thing in gameplay, right? But one of the things we really leaned on was like the rag dog, right? The rag doll physics, right? And being able to remove that invisible wall when you're performing moves and performing certain things like that, which is very important to us. Also being able to incorporate, thumbtacks and incorporate, or being able to use the belts that's at the ringside for the podium during championship matches, and being able to, when the superstar gets slammed onto those things, they react differently, right? And it hurts differently, right? And like being able to tell those different stories. So I think one of the things for us that we will love to do is address every single thing. And some things at the time we just, we're not able to get to it, right? But I will say we we weren't able to get to the submission stuff, like, to be just be upfront, we weren't able to get to it.
Yeah.
But we did address, the reversal situation where people felt like reversal was too easy. So now we have the whole new, reverse mechanic to where if you try to go ahead and do a reversal fast nonstop, you're gonna pay for it, right? And we have different ways to where, I don't want to spoil it, but we have different ways to where players can, being able to get out of a certain state or being able to trigger a certain thing to do certain things. So I'm not trying to dance around it, but my biggest thing is just like, again, from the gameplay standpoint, we try to address a lot. And, new match types coming in, those things also bring a whole different level of commitment for our team. And just across different bots. So yeah. I'll leave that there.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So now, one question that people have with the 3 stages of hell match that we
Mhm.
are seeing come back this year is when we transition from one match to the next, will the way that the environment looks stay the same?
In terms of if
Like
you're in a street
weapons, right?
fight, so if you're in a street fight, does a cage drop?
So, like, how do I put this? All right. So, like, let's say I'm using weapons against a character.
Mhm.
The wrestler, we beating each other up with weapons. We got broken tables somewhere. We got a chair that's just somewhere that you can no longer use because it's already done. Will those things stay around, or thumbtacks, for example? We know that that's coming back. Will those things stay around going into the next stage of the match, or is it almost like a just everything restarting?
So you don't leave your experience in the 3 stages of hell. Like there's no loading, there's no like no load screens or nothing like that. So essentially
Really?
you come out of it. So I think that's one of the things too that I think people will be excited when they experience. So if you go from a street fight, you have a hell in a cell, as you get the 1, 2, 3, next thing you know, you'll go into something, not a loading screen, and then the hell in the cell will start to drop, right? So, and then next thing you know, you come out and when it drops, next thing you know, ding, 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 right? So our biggest thing when we did stuff like the 3 cities hell was to try to replicate it as much as we can for real life, but then not to take the user out of the experience. Because it's like, well, if you're just doing 3 matches with a cutscene, we felt like that wouldn't have felt the same as in you still being in the environment, being able to get, cool cutscenes and different situations that let you be able to transition to the next match.
Right. Okay. That's exciting because I was worried a little bit about that. I'm like, man, hopefully this does feel like a three stages of hell. So
No,
that sounds
man,
really good.
I would tell you the team did an amazing job, in my opinion, on really flushing that out to make it feel like Three
Yeah.
Stages of Hell. And it feels like Three Stages of Hell. If you get
Oh,
to match three, it feels like Three Stages of Hell.
okay. Cool. 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 So that's exciting to hear. Now, for like right now, just even now that we have that out the way, was quick grapples, was that something you guys were able to get to? That's something that a lot of people are like really hoping for because they hate the whole aspect of having to grab somebody to do that. And I know you guys reworked a lot of the gameplay, so I gotta ask that, man. I wouldn't be doing them justice.
No, I mean, I get it. So to be fair, like we didn't change grappling overall, I would say, but we added the drive mechanic. So I don't know if that probably hasn't been highlighted yet. But we have the drive mechanic, which gives you the ability to completely, when you do a collar and elbow locker with your opponent, you can drive them directly into the turnbuckles and directly to a position of the ring.
Okay.
We also let players do repositioning from the lockup, so you can go from collar elbow to waist lock to snapmare and all those kind of things. Again, like I said, we talked about the ragdoll mechanic. So even though we didn't change grappling overall, we still added different things to do within the grappling to give our users, just a different experience, or at least something different that they can do within the grapple.
For sure. Okay, that's good to hear. And 4-man, 5-man faction entrances, are they able to be selected now? Like is that something you can go into at all?
Man, you gonna I don't want to peel back the curtain on Create, man. There's some cool stuff going on in Create. Like I think I mentioned this at the top of the when we first started chatting, but like I joined also the Create team, also joined of course the Ringside Pass team, and a whole bunch of other different teams I was able to join and like do some things there. Well, do things and not some
Yeah,
things. And for Create, man, we did a lot of good stuff this year,
yeah,
and I think people are going to be happy. They're on that. Seeing as the thing on social, and I'm talking about like the things that they want to hit on, and like it feels in a way like an injustice. But I'll just say this: I could talk put it this way. I don't want to confirm that or deny it, but don't want to confirm it right now. But my biggest thing is like I can talk about stuff that we did put out there already. How about that?
okay, I understand.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can talk about the two-tone hair mechanic that we put in on the body morphing,
Can you tell us a
right?
little bit about that?
Yes, so I'll start with body morphing. So the body morphing upgrades that we run this year is exactly what it sounds like. We did a lot of amazing things that really like your craziest imaginations on what you will want to think. If you want to make yourself look like a swordfish with skinny legs and jacked up top, you can do that.
That's dope.
And it's a lot of, that was a lot of work that we put in, but it's also like, three letters, one word, fun. Sorry, I was doing that earlier. Sorry, but fun is the thing that we really want to bring back. And I think like when players are able to experience the body morphing and just a tool and see how that mechanic works and seeing like just the crazy level of what they can get to, they're going to be surprised and they're going to be happy. And on the two-tone hair side, man, this is something that some people might ask for it, but I think for the general mass, like this is not something that they didn't know. This is something that they didn't know that they wanted, if I can put it that way. Right. This is like the mechanic is insane. The things that you can do is literally like limitless in a way. And it's like I know everybody saw a little screen from the like the teaser photo on social
Yeah,
where we're
yeah,
just
with the
like,
with the two-tone hair.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So of course you can achieve that, but you can also achieve so much more. And we support so many hairstyles with that as well. So I think that's also going to be something for a lot of our creators, especially like our women creators, that they'll be able to really have a good time when they sink their teeth into. And it just in creating in general, man, we did a lot of like a lot of TLC, like a lot of love. We cleaned up a lot of things to make sure the experience is exactly what our users are expecting when they go into the creation suite and create a superstar. We wanted to feel and wanted to feel and wanted to meet expectations, and I think that we definitely achieved that this year.
For sure. That sounds great. So I got one more. I got two questions for you left. That's
Uh,
all I got, man. But all right. So listen, we've seen this year, right? And I completely I feel like I understand why, right? And if you could just peel back the curtain just a little bit for me, and if you can't, that's fine. But
Mhm.
with the graphical leap that everybody continues talking about this year, obviously, what can you say towards that? Because we know that gameplay was a big thing that was improved, and we understand, I at least understand that everything can't happen in 1 year. But
Yes.
for those that, want to know more about it, is that something that, 2, 3 years, something of that nature that is on the list, like the graphical leap thing?
Oh, I mean, I think that's something, that people can probably look at it from a consistent on a year-to-year basis, especially like with the return in like 2K22, right? Every single year we try to push the envelope, right? And like us, existing in the current gen situation, right, where it's the current platforms, like we want to push our game to the max. We want to fully take full capability and be able to fully exhaust all options on these platforms. So we're always looking to push graphically, we're always looking to push it. We're always looking to go above and beyond. And some things might not be the immediate thing that's noticeable for our players. It might be lighting in a situation, it might be a certain shade, it might be how certain colors pop, it might be the texture on material, it might be how skin or something looks on the body, might be how hair looks, right? So those are the things that we absolutely, absolutely prioritize. And it's absolutely something that we try to strive and achieve every year. And again, like, this is our first year being solely on, current gen, but it's
Thank
not,
God.
hey, 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 listen, my biggest thing about that is just like, dude, like, I understand it from the player side. I get that. I'm also, saying like, I think people also have to understand that, like, man, some things take time. You can't just completely just do things immediate. Like, it has to be, I'm not gonna say a good time, never a good time, but it's like it has to be in a moment, right, where it makes sense. So, but yeah, graphical like graphics and stuff, like, yes, we are definitely always looking to push it and always looking to just grow and expand and like get better. Like that's all we've done. Like since again, like especially since we came back with 2K22, like every single year we've added, rather it's match types, this, like every single year we've always tried to go above and beyond to over deliver.
For sure. And my last question, Cornell, is, bro, out of all the improvements this year, what is your favorite one? Like out of all of them that you guys seen, because you guys did so much, I want to hear what's your favorite gameplay improvement this year before you get up out of here.
Gameplay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was overall. Okay. Gameplay. I'll go ragdoll.
Okay.
Because the scrapyard is something that people have no idea what they're in for. And I promise you, like once players like are able to get into that environment, into that space, they're gonna spend a good amount of time just running around. Kind of just being like,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Cause there's certain things you can do in there that you haven't been able to do. Right. So it's like, I think that's something that like I'm so excited for players to get into. But also again, the ragdoll, right? Like being able to, if you suplex somebody, you going over, being able to watch the collision, and the physics of how the superstars react when they're hitting weapons and all those kind of things, instead of like the weirdness where like it forces them away. Or you have to imagine, oh man, I threw you on the back of that step. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like those are the things I'm really excited about for gameplay. But I will say I'll leave with this. The ringside pass, again, I'm not pushing it because it's our newest thing, our newest toy. That's not what I'm doing. I'm more so saying that I'm very excited when we get through the entire life cycle and we look back from February 4th, right? February 4th until the end of the life cycle. I'm very excited to see what the reactions are by the end of the life cycle because I think people are going to be very, very happy with what we how are able to achieve and what we brought to the table with the ringside pass.
That's good to hear, man. I appreciate you taking the time
Not a
out your day,
problem.
even staying a little bit extra over here, man. Thank you so much for that. And appreciate all you're doing, bro, for the games, man. We definitely appreciate you being the developer that kind of takes all the heat, like even with the good, you know what I mean?
Man, see,
So
see, that's the thing, man. It's not heat. So I think the misperception is that it's heat, not directed at you. You know
yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure, for
So
sure.
so it's not heat, right? It's not negativity. It's bro, I know what it's like to be on the other side of being a gamer and you feel like, man, nobody cares. Like you just talk about certain things, like there's nobody you can talk directly to. And if you say something, they might not respond, right? I also am very passionate about this community. Like I've been playing wrestling games my entire life. I've loved wrestling my entire life, but I also want to be available for everybody. Now, granted, am I ever going to respond to everybody? Of course not. But I try to do my best. I know recently, these past couple months, I have not been as available. But the reason being is that we locked in. Clearly, you see what we're working on. Like you see the trailers and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it was grind mode was kind of lock in. But as we start to continue to get to launch and post launch, I'll definitely, be available, right? And I'll always be there. I'll always listen. And I don't want people to think that like, on our side, like nobody on our side think is complaining or man, we don't operate like that. It's a passionate community that is very supportive, very vocal, right? And the community, they're just honest, right? And I think a lot of times people sometimes, because it does not relate to what they like and what they prefer, that gets lost as in like, oh, that doesn't matter. No, everything does matter. No, it does. Just because that does not affect your user experience does not mean that
Yes.
it does not mean that it doesn't matter to you or to the next person. No. So and there are times, if I don't respond to something, that don't mean that I didn't see it or I didn't say, hey, I have to take it back to the team. Like, hey, this is what can we do? Like Aleister Black, like I talked about, Aleister Black WrestleMania 42, the sentiment was like, oh, we didn't really like him. Go ahead and took that. We went back to the team. We talked about it. I talked to Alistair, right? I was able to work with Alistair, get some stuff, like see some stuff in place. And then next thing you know, boom, we were able to update him, right? So I think those are the things for our players to understand. Like, even if you don't get a response, that doesn't mean that you're going unhurt. Nobody's going unhurt. I can assure you that anybody on our dev team, for the creators that are able to, because not they so they put out Creative Fest and thing, y'all. So I didn't say none of that. But the Creative Fest, like for those that are there, it's like who are there every single year potentially, right? So it's like they know how to. We're always super duper approachable. I'm just the one that's just out there. But my account is more so like all of us. Like everybody sees the feedback, everybody sees the sentiment. Nothing is ignored. And again, nobody's mad, nobody gets mad. Like we're thankful. So please never stop being yourself, never stop using your voice, never stop voicing your opinion. Because that's listen, man, we're not perfect. We don't move like we are. We don't act like we are. Like, there's a lot of things that we would like to do. And if there's something that is an issue, we would love to fix it and correct it. Right. That's only how you learn in life. So please continue to use your voice. Please continue to, you know, just be the community that we love and that continue to be passionate. So
Love it, bro. I appreciate that, and hopefully everybody else feels comfortable hearing that as well, because that's something that I think some people need as well, just to hear it out. Because some people think that because you don't reply, you're ignoring or whatever the case may be. So
oh
again,
man.
definitely appreciate it.
It's not ignoring. I just think that if 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 everybody is asking me a whole bunch of questions, one, there's certain things I can't address, or certain things I might not know about, or there's certain things that it's like, okay, if I already responded to this, I don't want to make it seem like I'm only picking the same topic to talk about. But regardless, the stuff that comes in, the whole entire team sees it. That's all the way from the top, like top. Everybody sees it, right? So yeah, no, man. Then ain't nothing to worry about. Like, nothing to worry about in terms of communication. I'm always here. Always will be.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Cornell, for coming through, bro, and
Of
and
course.
and
Thank you.
appreciate that always, man.
Always. Thank you so much, man. Again, I'm very proud of you, man. Please stay locked in, keep doing your thing, man. And like you're growing. You're growing, but I really think 26, man. I know your content be popping up, and I see you in them lobbies, man. I'm about to come see you one of these times.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
worry.
we gonna have to you gonna have to pull up. I'm gonna pull up on you.
Yeah. All right, man.